Do you want to become the best Katarina player who single-handedly carries his teams to victory? Well, look no further, because in 12 minutes I will teach you everything about Katarina to go from this to this. 100% guaranteed result, by the way. As we all know, Albert Einstein's famous last words were something along those lines: if you can't get a penta with Katarina, then it means you don't know her abilities well enough. And her abilities is exactly what we are going to start with. First of all, Katarina's passive called Veracity dramatically reduces her ability cooldowns if an enemy dies that she recently has damaged. Now the second part of her passive makes Katarina slash whenever she catches a dagger or picks it up from the ground. When Katarina slashes, she deals magic damage to all the nearby enemies, and also it significantly reduces the cooldown of her third ability Shumpo. So catching or picking up those daggers is really important part of her damage output and mobility. Her first ability is called Bouncing Blade, and this is where she throws a dagger at the target that bounces up to 2 nearby enemies, dealing magic damage to each target. Then the dagger ricochets onto the ground behind the initial strike point. This is the ability you can use for various things, like for farming in lane, finishing off targets, and also what's nice about it is that the dagger lands behind the enemy, which allows you to blink to them using the third ability so that it will be harder for them to escape. I'm going to speak about the usage of those abilities later in the combo section. But now on to the second ability, which is called Preparation. This is where Katarina tosses a dagger into the air at her current location. This ability also grants her a short burst of movement speed. Katarina's third ability is Shumpo, that we already mentioned couple of times. It allows Katarina blink to location near a dagger or unit, dealing damage to the nearest enemy. Its cooldown is greatly reduced when she picks up daggers, or when she gets a takedown. You can use Shumpo on many things, like of course your daggers, enemies, allies, but also on honey fruits, blast cones, etc. Shumpo can't be used on wards or structures though. Shumpo also has an auto attack reset, which comes handy to make quick trades. Now it's time to talk about her ultimate called Death Lotus. It is an AoE ability which deals damage over time and applies grievous wounds to 3 nearest enemy champions. Katarina is also able to reposition herself for a short time during the ultimate. This is a really strong ultimate, especially that its cooldown will be reduced by takedowns, which means that during one team fight she might be able to use her ultimate twice, or even thrice. It depends on what level the ultimate is, how much cooldown reduction she has from the items, and of course how many takedowns she got. The most important thing about her ultimate is when to use it, because it can be cancelled pretty easily by some CC. Already when you are on the loading screen, try to figure out which one of the enemy champions have a CC that can cancel Katarina's ultimate, and then during the game pay attention if those abilities are on cooldown or not. If you are unaware what CC can cancel Katarina's ultimate, then for example all the stuns, knock up, knock back, charm, flee, and so on. But remember that root can't cancel the ultimate, only thing it does is that you won't be able to move. This is how you should max the abilities. Bouncing Blade goes first because that allows you to poke the enemy in lane and also shove the waves faster. After Shumpo and then Preparation. Also don't forget to put a point in ultimate whenever possible. When playing Katarina, there are 2 rune pages you need to know. The main rune page is Conqueror. It is in general very strong keystone as it gives her both damage and sustain. And another reason why it is so good on Katarina is that with her combos you can get maxed Conqueror stacks really fast. Also it's an excellent keystone against team comps that are tankier, because you will be able to survive longer in team fights and deal more damage. Second keystone that you might want to consider is Electrocute, which is good against squishy team comps. Also it's really good during the laning phase, but when it comes to team fights then you will be able to benefit a lot more from the Conqueror, which is why most of the time you want to go for that. As for the secondary runes, I would suggest Hunter Vampirism for that extra damage and lifesteal. Of course Triumph is viable as well. Then go for Hunter Titan for some HP and tenacity. Last one is something you should choose based on your matchup once you have figured out your lane opponent. If it is a ranged poke champion or some sort of champion that counters Katarina, then definitely go with Sweet Tooth to get extra healing from Honey Fruit. If it's a champion you think you should have advantage over, and you are confident you can win the lane, then surely go for Hunter Genius for that nice ability Haste. The best summoner spells for Katarina are of course Flash and Ignite. Katarina's first core item is Hextech Gunblade, and this item really doesn't need much explanation why it's so good on her. Just always buy it for Katarina and you will make her happy. Second item would be the Infinity Orb that gives her good amount of HP that is very handy since Katarina is squishy champion. It also gives ability power with some magic penetration, but most importantly this sweet passive that makes her abilities crit against low HP targets. This item greatly helps to finish off those low HP enemies to get the passive's ability cooldown reduction. Third item should be the Rabadon's Death Cap for the insane amount of AP it provides. Two last items are more situational, so I will give you couple of options to choose from. First one would be the Liandry's Torment, which is kinda like a safe option to go for as it gives you more HP and the passive synergizes really well with her kit. Second option would be the Void Staff in case enemy has tanks in the team that are building magic resistance. Third option would be more Olonomican if enemy team has champions with healing abilities like Dr. Mundo or Soraka. And fourth option would be Guardian Angel in case enemy team has a lot of physical damage dealers. Also GA's passive is always nice to have. As for the boots I would suggest first of all Mercury's Treads because of the tenacity it gives. Once you use her ultimate she becomes very easy target to land some CC on, but Mercs will help to reduce the duration of stuns, slows, taunts etc., which can save your life and possibly help you win the whole team fight. In case enemy doesn't have many CC abilities and you think you can snowball, then definitely go for Ionian Boots of Lucidity. Third option to consider is Plated Steel Caps if enemy has heavy physical damage team comp. For the enchantment you should go with Stasis Enchant. This is the most beneficial for Katarina as she dives in the middle of the team fights. Once Riot rolls out champions like Malzahar and Warwick that have suppression abilities, then you want to go for Quicksilver Enchant instead. In the early phases of the game try to control the lane the best you can, by either poking and pressuring the enemy, or going for early kills and gaining lane priority by pushing in your opponent. Main way how to poke is to use Bouncing Blade to clear waves while trying to hit the enemy champion with it as well. If you are against skill shot champion then you can use Preparation for the movement speed to dodge the skill shots. Against harder matchups where the enemy has the range or poke advantage your goal is to avoid losing HP, while trying your best to pick up as much farm as you can. If you lose a lot of health early you will not be able to go for an early all-in. Once you get level 3 then you can start looking opportunities to combo your opponent. One combo to use in lane is the EWQE, which I will explain how to use very soon in the combo section. When you hit level 5 then this is where you should seriously try to look for a kill. Whether it is against enemy laner, or to roam bot or top for a kill. Roaming is part of how to play Katarina and here are some tips when it's good time to do that. When you won the lane and already have some kills. Also when enemy laner is playing safe and you are unable to kill them. When you have pushed in the minion wave. You're in a hard matchup and cannot kill the enemy alone. But remember it's not worth it to fall behind by trying to roam because you're the carry after all, which means you need that XP and gold from the minions. About mid and late game the keyword for Katarina would be team fights. This is where you ideally want to be as Katarina, because she has quite specific playstyle due to her kit. The most important thing to know is when to go in. You should never engage first, but allow your teammates do that so enemies would waste their main abilities before you engage. As we spoke earlier then Katarina's abilities get significant cooldown reduction from takedowns, and this is what this playstyle is about, to capitalize on her ability resets. And if you let your teammate engage first, then not only you will not be hit with enemies' main abilities, but most likely some of the enemies could already be half HP. So once the first enemies are about to go down you want to get the ability resets. Of course if you are fed or enemy team consists of squishies, then you might be able to engage on them first, but most of the cases it's way safer to wait for your teammates to engage. So in conclusion, be patient and smart with engages, And always try to track when enemy has used their main CC on someone else, because if you get hit by it during your ultimate, then most likely you will find yourself on the fountain. We will start with the basic auto attack reset combo. As mentioned before, then Shunpo resets the auto attack, which means it doesn't have to wait for the auto attack animation to finish. Simply auto attack and straight away use E, and then auto attack again. It is very easy and fast combo to proc electrocute and potentially to get some kills. Once you hit level 2 you can use QE auto attack combo. This is a combo that you might be able to get kill with. It's especially good to use it when your lane opponent is still level 1. At level 3 one of the main combos you want to use is EWQE, that I also mentioned before. This combo allows you to easily land all of your abilities. As we spoke about roaming before, then in order to do that you need to clear your waves quickly. And one really good combo to clear a wave is QEW combo. Next I want to quickly show how to hop walls. It's not quite like a combo, but very useful thing to know nevertheless. Simply throw W dagger up in air when you are next to a wall, and then point E on the side closer to the wall. You can jump a lot of walls using this trick. Next up we have a full burst combo which allows you to hit all 4 abilities in a short amount of time, and this is the EWQRE combo. Simply blink to an enemy and drop both of your daggers before using the ultimate. Once ultimate is over, E to pick up the Q dagger. The last combo is for team fights. Start off with throwing Q dagger onto the front line until you find a good moment to go in. Then press EW and use your ultimate. There are loads and loads of Katarina combos, and if you are interested in me making a separate more in-depth video about combos, then let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for today. Bye guys.